Hi everyone, Kelly here. I'm going to do my ghost hunting experiences. It's been a long time since I've done them. I've let them build up. I have got 4 here. Got all the notes and so forth wrote down in this little notebook. So first of all, I am going to start with Tatton Hall. Now this Tatton Hall one, this was with Haunted Happenings and it was £59 each, and it was 8 PM till 3 AM. This one I absolutely loved. So at beginning it took like forever to find. We went, it's like in this big, what do you call it? It's like a, I would say complex. It's not a complex at all. Where it's got like long drives, and then you can see all these deers. We was too intrigued at looking at all the deers. We missed the turning off. But you keep going and you go down to this massive, the Tatton Hall, where who got married there in Coronation Street? Roy and Hayley. Anyway, they got married there. But then we had to turn off to the old hall, the old Tatton Hall. And this place was brilliant. So first of all, you got the talk. Excuse me. And they say, they introduce themselves, and they tell you what you might expect and what you might not expect, and so forth. And then we had a walk around. First, when we walked round, we noticed there was a barn. We didn't go in there first of all, and first of all we walked all the way down, and this, I cannot remember the date of this one, but it was absolutely pouring down with rain, so we got soaked. So we walked past the barn and we walked into the old Tatton Hall, and did some calling out and things, and just with the medium, he was saying if he was picking up anything. He picked up on children, I think, and a man and a woman. And then upstairs we went, and then he was saying about what was he saying about? He was saying about another woman and a man and loads of children. And then we went into this other room and we all like did a mini seance, and we all holded hands and everybody was introducing themselves like to the spirits and like saying come forward and like do something. And me and this bloke, our hands were being lifted up, and this was just at the beginning of the like walk around investigation. Our arms were being lifted, and in that room I just felt so terrified. I don't know why, I just felt really terrified. And then we went back down and had a look in the barn. I love that barn. It's full of straw, full of instruments, like you had I think there was what was in there? Like one of those long garden fork things. Just things you normally find like in your garden, and like one of those things that they stab in the hay. Yeah, you know what I mean. There's loads of hay bales and you could sit on there, and there was the medium was saying things about I think it was a woman. Then after that, after we had the walk around, we then split up into two groups or 3 groups? 3 groups. So the first group, we was with the medium, and we was in the old Tatton Hall downstairs. and they put a light, well, he put his torch like behind us, and like the staircase, the top of the staircase, and it kept flashing on and flashing off, flashing on and flashing off, and then it stayed off for ages. And then we started to do Ouija board. It was moving, but it wasn't making any sense at all. So we just tried the table on the glass on the table, but again that wasn't making sense. So we just did table tipping, and the table was answering our questions all right then. We found out there was a man in there. I cannot for the life of me remember his name, and he didn't like women, and his wife got pregnant, and the kid wasn't his, so she had an affair, and then we just then had the torch going on and off again. Then we went into, where did we go? We went into the barn, and they split us up, so there were men on the table and women, men on the table and women down the other side of the room. But before we did that, we did a big seance. I think there's about 8 of us, 8 of us. We was holding hands, we was asking for things to happen. One woman, was she being pushed? No, her husband was being like the human pendulum. So he'd ask the spirit a question, and the spirit would like push him forward or push him back. So if you pushed him forward, that was a yes. If you pushed him back, that was a no. I was asking questions like that. And then all of a sudden, he was just asking questions. All of a sudden, I felt really, really angry. I don't know why. I just felt really, really angry. And I thought, in a minute, I'm going to say, why don't you off? But I didn't. But instead of me saying that, I was pushed. And then the host asked if they pushed me, and the bloke went forward, the human pendulum as we call it, the bloke went forward as to say yes. And then people were just, I don't know, that barn was just a weird place, and people were just feeling like uneasy. And then, as I said, we split. The women went up there and the blokes went down there. And the blokes found out it was a woman. There was a little boy in there also, but he was afraid of the woman. And the woman was a witch. And she was a very, very nasty person, as the boys found out. All you could see and all you could hear was these men on the table running around, almost screaming, running around trying to keep up with this table, and then the table flipped over, and they was all like, ooh. We didn't have nothing much, we just had the little boy, and he was saying like he was afraid of this woman witch. So that was that. No, it wasn't the best bit. While I was in the barn, we then swapped. So us women was on the table, and the blokes were just at the top, like calling out. The table was moving a little bit, but not as much as it was for the men. So then we all came together. So people who wanted to stay on the table stayed. I stayed, and some of the men came on. Philip was on there. The table was going, and when the table was going, a stone was thrown near my foot, and then all of a sudden Philip, he was making a funny noise. He was going like, oh, I looked and he goes, I'm gonna have to get off. I feel really, really sick and really, really dizzy. So he got off, sat down, and he felt fine. And then I started to feel dizzy, but I kept at it. I kept on the table. It was going. It was answering our questions. We said, are you evil? And it was going, no. Are you a witch? And it was going, yes. And when you said, are you a witch, that table was rocking like crazy. And then Philip was okay, so he came back on. He was asking all these questions. He was like saying, if you're a witch, please do something. If you say you're a witch and you're powerful, do something powerful. And all of a sudden, no lie, the table is just a square table, and it's one of those ones that collapses. So they're like the legs, and then it collapses. We was on it, it was rocking, and usually when it rocks and it falls, it just falls on its side. But no, it didn't. We was on it and it fell, but it didn't, it like flipped over. So when it landed, it didn't land on its side, it landed just on the top of the table. So it like landed all the way down like that, and its legs sticking up until it collapsed. But that was really, really good, really like that. And then we went round on our own and nothing really was happening. We took some pictures in the barn, but there was nothing showing up on there. And then all the women had to go back into the old hall, and we did a seance there, because this bloke is not meant to like women. So all the women went down in there and nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden a woman felt like there's somebody behind her, and then she felt like her hair was being touched and then her shoulder being touched, but nothing else happened to anybody else. And then it was time for like breaks and so forth, and then it was just at the end of the night, then we had the big seance where everybody holding hands. We did this in the barn. Now I see, and I know the girl next to me saw, because I was looking round and she was looking round like behind her. I felt something behind me, looked, and there was like a shadow behind this girl, and she also see it, and she started shaking. There was a couple of knocks. People were doing table tipping in the middle of the circle. I think Phil was in the middle as well, and the table was really, really going mad. Again, we see some lights, and that's all that happened there. That was a really, really great night, and I would go there again. So that was Tatton Hall. That was 8 p.m. till 3 p.m. and it's £59 each with haunted happenings. So stay tuned for my next one. That one was at Condover Hall near Shrewsbury. So keep your eyes open for that, and I'll see you in my next ghost hunting video.